Like, it's weird because Ethan is trying to throw her softballs, but he almost like traps her into this conversation without even trying. Because Ethan is actually pushes hard, but I don't even think Ethan is trying to push hard. Keffals is just so f***ing inept that she's just walking into like the worst f***ing traps because she's so f***ing dishonest. Do you see how she's lying? Why would you lie about this? Like, why would she avoid bringing up the website? There's two huge problems with this. One, as we're gonna see, is you might get caught in a lie, which is really scary. But two, the other problem is people like Keffals wield trans people as like sword and shield. It's one of the most annoying things anytime a trans issue comes up is every trans person is, one, expected to have really strong positions on everything, two, is expected truly to join the orthodoxy, and then three, has their entire life brought out, dragged out into the public, questioned, ridiculed, scorned, supported, validated, oppressed.
Keffals, welcome. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Hey, it's nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you. So, how's it going?
I never thought that the first time that I went to the United Kingdom, because I'm in Northern Ireland right now, would be the week that the Queen dies, but God, it's been interesting.
So are you there now, or did you return home?
I'm still in Northern Ireland.
Yeah, and do people know where you're living now, or are you able to keep that a secret?
No, I can't. But like I've been swatted multiple times while I've been here already.
Oh. Just to be clear, you can keep your location a secret, but she is like needlessly and more importantly, intentionally provocative with her location every opportunity. The goal, and you're a f***ing moron if you keep playing into this, so if you're a farmer or whatever the you losers come from, every time you swat her over and over and over again or dox her over and over and over again, that's what she wants. You are literally being controlled by her. That is absolutely what she wants to happen, is to get swatted, to get doxed over and over and over again so that she can keep fundraising off of it and keep getting media attention off of it. Like the CNN interview is literally like showing her building, showing her room. She bought an IRL setup to stream herself walking around outside. Like, she loves the attention. So when you give it to her, you're playing into it. When you do these like weird like doxing and swatting things.
Oh, but it was all swatting attempts. The cops never pulled a gun on me, unlike what happened in Canada.
There's been no corroborating reports, by the way, that guns were pulled on anybody in Canada. I don't believe the police said that. I don't believe any of Keffals' friends came out and said that. Even Keffals herself seems to change up on that story, but
it's happened so many times now that the cops don't even take the calls seriously.
Mm-hmm. Who's scarier, the Irish? Are the Irish police cool about that stuff? Because like in America, you know, they go crazy. Like the first time we got swatted, there was like 20 police cars. There's a helicopter. They cased the whole house with their guns drawn. It was pretty nuts. Like, are the Irish police cooler about it?
Oh yeah, no. Like, someone called in saying that there was a stabbing in the apartment I'm in, and they just sent 2 police officers and they were knocking at the door. Like, compared to what happened in Canada when I got like an assault rifle pointed at me, that's...
Again, nobody says there was an assault rifle pointed at anybody. That story's never been corroborated, and the London, Ontario police seem to point out things differently. It's kind of weird here because H3H3 has actually unironically been swatted. She had cops show up to the door, knock to be allowed to be let in. This story is what was given by the Ontario police, and neither Keffals nor anybody in her apartment contradicted that. Responding officers conducted the initial inquiries, which culminated in their attendance at Ms. Sorrenti's residence. Officers did not conduct what is sometimes referred to as a dynamic entry into Ms. Sorrenti's residence. Rather, they knocked on the door, announced themselves as police officers, and occupants answered. So she's misrepresenting the entire swatting. She did it initially to fundraise off of it, and she'll continue to do so for attention.
Nothing. Cops are playing with the cat here.
That's interesting that the Canadians are also so militarized, the police there. I didn't realize.
The London, Ontario Police Force is probably one of the most progressive police departments in the entire Western hemispheres. The idea that they're like some horribly LGBT negative, ultra militarized police force is a joke.
Oh my God. This whole thing has been insane. Like the last month and a half.
So to what?
Insane is in like insanely fun. You can tell by her demeanor. You can tell by the way she looks. I don't normally like to read into it or do the psychoanalysis thing, but there's like so much other evidence based on how she's acting. Like there are ways that scared and afraid people act. She's not scared or afraid. She loves the attention. She loves it. She loves it. She loves it. She's having fun with it the whole time. This is like another smaller clip from her stream. She's kind of like talking about like getting attention, enough attention to blow things up so that like Cloudflare responds and everything.
But I'm really optimistic that on Monday, when I talk in depth about how my family got threatened basically because of this Cloudflare protest, if I can make another video that gets a lot of views and then get media attention around this, I feel like Cloudflare will be more likely to respond. Like, oh, this trans activist wanted Cloudflare to drop their services for an extremist hate site, and then her entire family was threatened and she had to leave the continent. Like, I feel
She doesn't have to leave the continent, by the way. There isn't an armed militia on the ground in Canada chasing her. She's getting doxxed on the internet. She could literally be getting doxxed by astronauts in the ISS. There might be people with a permanent presence on the moon that we don't know about that could be doxing her. The idea that she had to flee the country, it's very strange that that was just given as a narrative in the media. I say the media, but it's like her three friends that write for these shitty websites kind of like eat it up with like uncritically. Like, what do you mean you had to flee Canada? Were the people doxing you in Canada? Well, no. Were they doxing you because you were in Canada? Well, no. Does getting out of Canada keep them from doxing you? Well, no. Could you be doxed in any other country? Well, yeah. Could doxers be in the other countries? Yeah. Like, the idea that you have to flee from a country to avoid a dox it just fundamentally doesn't make any sense. Again, uttered uncritically and taken uncritically. Like,
feel like at that point, they would probably respond.
And then you can also tell the way that she talks about herself and her struggles. She sees herself as like the main character in kind of this like action adventure like novel that she's written herself in as the main character. Like, yeah, like I'm the activist and I'm gonna try to get attention from these companies so we can take down blah 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 blah. Like, none of this, like it's all just like a big ego trip for her basically.
Walk me through it. I want to take it kind of from the top. Like, how did you initially get into this? I don't even call it a beef because it's like that kind of downplays what it is, but into the spat with Kiwi Farms.
So they started a thread on me on March 25th, and like, you know how that goes. They started off, they doxed my mother, they doxed me, they started doxing other members of my family. They doxed like 8 of my Twitch mods. Wow. And, you know, but after that, it was just harassment for months up until August 5th, when someone impersonated me in an email and sent it to every local politician saying, I have an illegal firearm and I'm going to go kill every cisgender person I see at City Hall. So, yeah, I wake up and the SWAT team arrests me. They take me into custody and get a search warrant. They take all my computers, my phones, everything. So at that point, it's like, I stream for a living and they just took my way of earning a living away. So I decided that I would go to the media, I would talk about it.
Keep in mind that she's bragging already in DMs about making like 6-figure incomes and shit. I'm not nearly 30 and I haven't burnt every bridge I made. That's what, Limfeo. You lied about OTM Shank being transphobic when he helped you transition. That's sad, bro. Haven't burned every bridge. I make 6 figures a year in a media job. I was reported on media in 15 different countries this month. Congrats, not everyone thrives off attention like you. She lost her stuff for a totality of like 2 to 3 days. That's how long she was deprived of her way of making a living. And when I don't know if you guys saw this, but when she went to the media with her issue, she had a full press kit worked out. Like, there was a Google Doc with like statements for press release and different things to contact different journalists with. Like, she had a whole media strategy worked out for this. Like, all of this has been for attention the entire time.
That's incredible how much damage they did. You know, I've heard of swatting, but actually getting you arrested, getting the warrant and confiscated, that's pretty next level. It's just surprised you that this website is like legal. I mean, where's the legal and illegal? Where's that line? I mean, where they're actually doing illegal things. So how's the website allowed to stay up? Are you familiar with the legality of that?
Only vaguely.
Do you think she planned her own swatting? I wouldn't be like conspiratorial enough to say that. The issue though is that like if you poke KF long enough, you know they're gonna do it. Like there are I know if I wanted to get swatted, I know there are certain communities that I could fight with to get me swatted. She knows that too. She wants it to happen. Like that's guaranteed. But like, did she plan it? That's a harder statement to make, I think.
Because it's all American law, and I'm unfortunately Canadian.
Unfortunately,
as far as I
yes.
understand, it's Section 230. So the owner of the website
Right.
isn't responsible for the actions of the users.
Yeah, even if they're doing illegal stuff, or it's
Whether or not doxing is legal or illegal is a pretty contentious issue. That's a pretty complicated one, but Ethan did apparently zero homework whatsoever for this episode, so.
seems to be, you know,
But
it's
like
weird.
the
It's
whole
pretty
purpose
dumb.
of the website is to allow for those things to happen. It's weird.
Well, especially because the owner seems to be engaging in it or specifically allowing it. So, golly, there's got to be some legal. I hope there's some legal repercussions for him. So, what happened after you got basically a warrant and all of your stuff confiscated? You went to the prison, or you got held in some kind of jail?
Oh, yeah. I just got held in a holding cell for like 11 hours, and then they released me with no charges, but they wouldn't give me my stuff back. And
Really?
the attorney that was representing me said that the process of going through digital forensics could take months.
Oh my god.
So I was really freaked out. I eventually got my stuff back in like 3 days and got an apology from the chief of police.
That's nice.
So, yeah, that was really nice. Not nice how they responded to the situation, but I'll take it.
When you decided to go and talk to the media about it, how do you get that done? Like, who would actually listen?
It actually went pretty big. Like it started with like the local press, and then it made its way to like provincial and then national press in Canada. But then it just kind of kept going because like I knew by coming forward with that meant I had to confirm where I lived. So I left. I didn't want that to happen again. That was terrifying. So I went to a hotel, and yeah, Ethan.
Again, anybody that's like even at least a little bit internet savvy, and I think she is pretty internet savvy, like would know that like if you're trying to avoid getting doxxed, you just like stop posting pictures of yourself. It's pretty easy. But she didn't. She posted multiple pictures of herself in almost every place she's gone to. She's essentially goading people over and over and over again to try to find where she's at. She knows what she's doing. She wants the attention. She's loving it every step of the way. And every time the dipshit Kiwi farmers bite, she's getting a better and better look every single time. But
Ethan already brought up what happened at the hotel, brought my cat there, and they found out the bed sheets. They started ordering pizzas to the hotel in my dead name just to let me know they know where I am.
God.
And that's got to make you feel unsafe, right? When they're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, I mean, like, you know,
I don't believe that she's ever felt unsafe. I think if you feel unsafe in these manners, I think you stop poking the bear. Again, she's getting paid every single time these events happen. I think she's enjoying it the entire time.
I'm a pretty visible trans person online. I'm used to people saying mean things to me all the time, but when it escalates to the point where they're trying to let me know they know where I am and they're willing to weaponize the police, that's when it gets actually scary.
Yeah, I mean, well, we kept getting swatted at our old house when we moved. We were scared as shit. So
Yeah.
I know that feeling, and I think it's obviously way more intense for you.
Yeah.
So you went to prison. You came back. You got your.
I don't know if it would be way more intense for her. You guys are in Canada. I think the United States is, when I say you guys, I mean like Keffals is in Canada. The United States is probably a lot more scary for doxing than Canada is. That'd be my guess, just because of the propensity for weapons to be involved with criminal matters in the United States. But
stuff back. So what kind of happened from there? You're back in your house. You got your computers. Do you go streaming? Do you go to a hotel? What happens in the immediate aftermath?
Okay, so like after I got out, I didn't get my stuff back. Like I spent the next several days thinking, all right, like how do I tell the story in order to get people to listen? And so I just like kind of spent days thinking like, how do I do this? And I got something together. I got together with like some of my friends, and we were able to start a campaign around that to pressure the police basically to give me my stuff back, because I was still a suspect, even though I was the victim of a hate crime in that situation. Like, someone's impersonating me.
She keeps like, I like how she like, notice how she started to say something, but then she slipped back into her media friendly rhetoric. Like, the police's actions are probably reasonable if we think about it. It's unfortunate, but that's kind of why swatting is what it is because the police have to act, right? If you're getting threatening emails in somebody's name, they're going to kill politicians, you probably need to follow up on that. Depending on how convincingly it's done, you probably have to follow up on that pretty aggressively. But notice how, like, when she's saying these things, she's not like, she was going to say, I'm the subject of an investigation, because that's really what's happening. And you should be, right? If people are making those types of claims. Ludwig did a good video on this about how he described, like, yeah, I understand why the police are investigating me. Like, it makes sense. But notice how when she says it, she's like, I'm the victim of a hate crime. Notice how she switches the verbiage there, because the first phrase sounds a little bit too neutral, and this one is like way more charged. It like puts her in the victim seat again, rather than just explaining what the cops are doing. She does it
basically to give me my stuff back, because I was still a suspect, even though I was the victim of a hate crime in that situation. Like, someone's impersonating me, and in the email they specifically made sure to include my dead name, so the police would also start calling me by my dead name. Like, they wanted to humiliate me.
Yeah. Why do they hate? So just to go do an aside a little bit. So why is it that they targeted you and hated you so much?
You know, it didn't really.
This is one of the reasons too why Keffals is kind of a shit advocate. There are a lot of really, really, really good reasons to absolutely hate her. You don't have to be a crazy person to fucking hate Keffals. And the problem is that, like, well, it's not really a problem with her because nobody's ever going to take a critical look into what she does. But if anybody did, they'd see like, oh, well, hold on. You dox people. You harass people. You're kind of an internet terrorist. You've like kind of almost implied like bomb threats and shit. Like, okay, maybe there are some reasons. The HRT stuff is pretty weird, even for most people would think it's a little bit weird. There are actually reasons why people might hate you, which makes her kind of a shit advocate because she thrives in that hatred. She loves it. It's like almost part of her branding at this point.
Really start until I started covering politics on Twitch. Like, I got really involved around the time that...
That's a lie. There's a lot of people, a lot of trans people on Twitch. It's a little insulting to other trans people on Twitch or on the internet who've covered politics who haven't stirred up as much shit as you. One of the things that I hate the most is that, like, and you can go back and you can watch any interview of me. If somebody says, Destiny, why do people not like you? Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, it's because I'm a truth sayer and people just don't like it because I'm so honest and loyal and blah, blah, blah. You should be like, yeah, I'm an asshole. And, you know, depending on how you like me, the way, you know, I can be really blunt. I can be kind of inconsiderate. I'm really hard to get along with. I even say for Melina, like, I'm a hard person to date. I'll be pretty honest about it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and be like, oh, people just hate me because I'm a sayer of the truth. That's the only reason. I'm persecuted because I'm so honest and so full of integrity. Come on. Like, there's plenty of people that are like that that don't have the same level of hatred that Keffals gets or I get, right? There are other things going on here. Be honest about it. The reason why people hate Keffals is because her entire internet career is built around bullying people. Truly, that's all it is. Now, she's bullying, quote unquote, bad guys, so it's okay. But truly, that's all it is at the end of the day. She's just a big fucking bully, right? Like, the night that she falsely accused me, the night that she defamed me and accused me of, like, directing my chat to go and hate rate her before I even knew who she was.
You can see the time, you can see when shit happens, you can review all of these things. All of the fucking hate raids are ended by the time any of the clips are up. But you can see there is a hate raid right here, and it's actually documented right here. It was a raid with 10 viewers. It was over in like 3 seconds. That's what her chat says in the clip. She didn't interact with Destiny, all right? This is at 8:40. She didn't interact with Destiny until 11:50. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I misworded that. She had interacted with Destiny earlier. They put the bot for the to catch all the DGGers at 11:50. All right. So at 11:50, that's when the bot started. They didn't end the first hate raid with the bot. All right, because that happened at 8. This is where they put the bot, because you can go and you can cross-reference when she's on Twitter where she talks about this, right? So She says on Twitter, we just put a bot that bans anyone that follows Destiny and our hate raid ended. So there was another hate raid around here. The clips say that, right? But this one, the only hate raid that you can see, not DGG. Destiny didn't even know that Keffals was doing this whole stream, like fucking with him and saying that he was harassing her until midnight. You can watch his VOD and you can scrub through the entire thing like we did at the beginning of stream. You were in our chat at the time? Yeah, I don't doubt that she was hate rated, right? I don't have any doubt in my mind that she was hate rated. It's just that there is no way for them to link DGG to this. That's the crux of the whole thing, right? The problem that I have with Demon Mama, assuming I still have... No, this is the... Yeah, look, this is the... You can see Destiny. This is Destiny for the first time reacting to Keffals, okay?
Wait.
This is at like midnight.
Hold on, Keffals said you stealth someone? What? Have I watched this before?
Insane. Oh yeah, meanwhile he stealths people, which is legitimately a form of rape.
Okay, so he sees this. He leaves the room for like 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, meanwhile he stealths.
By the way, before you start saying like, that's when he decided to like get the hate raid going. This was after both of the hate raids, and Melina had been calling him. So he like went to help his wife, all right?
People, which is legitimately a form of rape.
She was simultaneously trying to bully Ian Miles Chong on Twitter, calling for ratios and for people to bully him and shit in Twitter DMs, or not Twitter DMs, in Twitter replies. So yeah, I mean, like this is why people don't like you. Now you can like cope with the trans shit or whatever, but like being trans for you on the internet is a huge asset, because if you were just a normal white person like the rest of us, everybody would rightfully just call you a bully and tell you to f off. Nobody would give a f anything you have to say. But
Governor Abbott in Texas decided to have the parents of transgender youth investigated by Child Protective Services. And then I just started covering all the other anti-trans bills, and I was getting into fights with like conservative pundits, and it really pissed them off.
she didn't get into fights with anybody. Or if she did, somebody wants to fact check me here. If somebody wants to fact check me here, then go for it. But I don't think she got into quote unquote fights with anybody. It was just Twitter harassments and Twitter bullying. She was calling for ratios and like shitting on people on Twitter. That was it. She didn't like debate anybody or get into a back and forth. It was all just like Twitter ratioing. That's all I ever saw.
They really didn't like that.
I have a similar story. I know all about that. The minute I started talking about politics, we started getting like insane amounts of hate and scrutiny from the righties. But okay, continue. So they didn't like you were talking about politics. So what happened? Kind of. How did you feel that?
Nobody cares about her anyway. She gets no views on YouTube, no views on Twitch. Her CNN videos, low views. Yeah, no, that is true. She exists almost exclusively in the domain of Twitter, and then in the minds of like some of these loser journalists that work for Kotaku and CNN. This is another problem with the Keffals model, is that like she thrives. Well, no, she doesn't thrive on conflict. Her diet is conflict. And as soon as she's not fighting with anybody, she loses all relevancy. This is an issue that's so severe, even she herself has complained about it before. Do you remember when she tweeted out that she was disappointed when she was trying to do trans advocacy streams that she had dog shit viewership? Because nobody gives a fuck about any advocacy she does. They just want to see her fight with people on Twitter. That's what her whole audience is comprised of. It's the only reason people watch her. And as soon as she stops doing it, she's going to fade away faster than Anita Sarkeesian did, who gets like 10,000 views on a video now.
They were unhappy? How did that first start manifesting, like a harassment?
I think it's because like right now it's like we're in a culture war basically against trans people. Trans people are at the epicenter of this. And
the really frustrating part is that people like Keffals have put trans people in the center, because people like Keffals wield trans people as like sword and shield. It's one of the most annoying things anytime a trans issue comes up, is every trans person is, one, expected to have really strong positions on everything, two, is expected truly to join the orthodoxy, and then three, has their entire life brought out, dragged out into the public, questioned, ridiculed, scorned, supported, validated, oppressed, supported, attacked, like everything. Like, oh cool, another trans issue on the media today, time for every motherfucker to argue about this for the next like 2 months. But that, yeah, I think that people are artificially making trans people's like lives, or making trans people like the centerfold of like their culture war fights, just because it's a really easy area to stake a strong position out and like start doing battle with. But people like her are as responsible as anybody else for that type of behavior.
There's a lot of people.
And the reason why I would say that is because anytime you get into a fight with her over anything, she always wheels out the trans defense immediately. Remember, it's not enough to say that Destiny's bullied some people about their suicide attempts on Twitter. Destiny fights with some progressives or some people that he disagrees on Twitter. It's always Destiny's transphobic because he's attacking trans people. Destiny did this and it's bad against trans people. Destiny trans people, Destiny trans people, trans. It's always bringing up trans people because you want the focus to be there. Because as long as trans people are the focus, you've got like the strongest shield, right? You want to fight on the ground of everybody that you don't like is trans, because from that ground, you have like an unassailable position, right? Oh, well, you're only attacking me because I'm trans? You're transphobic, I win, boom. And when you can reframe every single argument through that lens, it gives you like so much ability to fight, especially like in some of these loser mainstream media outlets. We've got these like tailors and random Kotaku journalists that are willing to step out and like fight for you because you've got like the most noble battleground to fight from. It's literally like Anakin, I've got the high ground, except the high ground is like trans advocacy, and you can fight any topic or any position from that position.
People right now convinced that if you support trans youth, you're a pedophile. Mm-hmm. And so they started this entire smear campaign to try and convince everyone I'm a pedophile and everything I'm doing is to support pedophilia. And any of the kids that I've supported in their transition are my grooming victims. It's been really fucked up, especially because I'm someone who came out when I was a minor. I understand what it's like to be in that position.
Yeah, they've been accusing you of being a pedophile and a groomer. Actually, what's kind of crazy is we've seen people echoing that a lot. Even when we said we'd have you on, some of our own fans were saying, don't have her on, she's a groomer. So what would you say to them, kind of, now that you have the opportunity to explain that accusation that they level against you?
I think the problem with it is people are using that word in two different ways. Like, people have taken the word groomer, which means someone who is manipulating children into doing sex acts, and then they've made that word mean someone who supports trans people. But
just as a quick thing, this is like a wasted fight. It's like me and pedophile. Like it's a waste of time to fight over the definitions of these words because they don't mean anything anymore. The concept is important to understand, though. When we talk specifically about a groomer or why grooming is bad, grooming is when somebody in a position of power, typically an adult, lures somebody who is in a position of vulnerability, usually a child, into a friendly-ish type relationship or professional-ish type of relationship with the intention of, after some time, flipping that relationship into something sexual by abusing the trust you've gained by being non-sexual. That's typically what grooming means. When we really, no, that's not typically what it means. Now grooming means whatever the fuck you want it to mean. But generally, that's what grooming means. The reason why grooming is so insidious is because it plays on your ability to trust people that are otherwise selling themselves as non-sexual people. So like an adult trying to like molest a kid, or an adult trying to say like, oh, like come upstairs and we can, mess around or blah, blah, blah. That's not grooming. That's just like, you can call it pedophilia or improper, whatever. That's not grooming. Grooming is like, oh, like I'm your babysitter. Like we're friends for like a couple years and blah, blah, blah. And then now we're going to start doing like sexy things after a few years because I've gotten your trust and blah, blah, blah. Like that's typically what we're talking about when we talk about grooming. But yeah, that grooming is like, it's like Nazi or pedophile or whatever. Grooming doesn't mean anything anymore. It's whatever.
But if you don't know the difference, it means the same thing, right?
I mean, I think most people think of groomer as someone who's preparing I think
It's so funny because Ethan actually knows what a groomer is, and he goes on to start to say it, and then he pulls back because he doesn't want to contradict his guest because he's such a f***ing simp. Ethan was about to say it, but then he's like, oh, yeah, basically what you said.
Means the same thing, right?
I mean, I think most people think of groomer as someone who's preparing I think that's the common usage, and I think that's what they're saying about you.
Yeah, it's really frustrating because
well, what are they saying? What are they basing it off of? Why are they saying that?
Are they saying it?
This is something that's also so frustrating. I don't know if Keffals either didn't prepare for this interview, or she's probably not very smart, actually. I don't know if I've ever heard Keffals talk about any of these issues. And I'm like, oh, she sounds like pretty insightful. I don't actually think she knows much about trans issues or grooming or any of this shit. I think she just does like her ego-driven, like, you know, trying to build up herself as a person. Like, this is an opportunity for her to say, like, oh, people accuse me of being a groomer because I provide access to a service online that allows minors to get HRT. That's why people accuse me of being a groomer. That's the accusation. I'm going to tell you why it's wrong. I think it looks really bad that instead of her just confronting that head on, I think, because I watched like 20 minutes of this off stream before I started streaming, she ends up letting herself getting like lured or like baited into this conversation. And she looks, maybe I might be biased, I guess, because I hate her, but it feels like she comes off as very dodgy the whole time. Like, it's weird because Ethan is trying to throw her softballs, but he almost like traps her into this conversation without even trying.
Yeah, it's really frustrating because
Well, what are they
never...
saying? What are they basing it off of? Why are they saying that?
Are they saying it? There literally is no basis for saying it.
Like,
so let's see.
They think because...
And now Ethan goes to the subreddit.
They claim that you had a Discord server with minors discussing sexual stuff.
I never had a Discord server where I discussed sexual stuff with minors.
Notice how she's giving there's like different levels of media savviness you need to be on. I think that her answer there might have been good for a journalist asking for like a 60-second interview, but on a show long form like this, I think you need to give a bigger answer. Because now if anybody, and here's like the issue, Keffals is probably largely innocent of the Catboy Ranch thing. I would have to go back and check, but from what I've read about it, she was part of a server that at one point in time might have had a minor that might have been communicating inappropriately with somebody else. That was like the level of connection that I read. Like, we've all probably been part of a server where some stupid shit was going on between other members. I've never heard anything about Keffals being directly involved in it, Keffals leading it, Keffals condoning it or supporting it. Never heard anything like that. Like, this is a really easy accusation to say like, oh yeah, like somebody accused me of this thing, and yeah, but this happened on like a server that I was on the server, but I don't know any of this shit going on. I wasn't like part of it. I didn't approve of any of that. I had no idea. Like, there's nothing that ever connects her to any of that. I don't know why she wouldn't just own that. Instead, she makes it sound like, oh, I don't know about anything. I wasn't on anything. Well, now, if anybody looks into any of that and they see, oh, well, hold on, you were on this Catboy server and there were accusations of like people sending callers to minors. Now they're going to think she's lying about the whole thing. Now she's going to feel like, or now it's going to feel like, well, she lied about that. What else did she lie about? I don't know. I think it's really, I think you have to kind of own that, but didn't she talk to minors on the server? I don't think any of that was ever corroborated. Here is the issue with Kiwi Farms, okay? When Kiwi Farms, if any Kiwi farmer tells you different, they're lying to you and they cope, because farmers cope hard about their site. They do cope hard about it. But here's the issue. And I know this because I see them do it to me. Kiwi farmers, when it comes to doxing people or digging up information, are dropping nuclear bombs. And when you're dropping nuclear bombs, you can dig up a lot of surprising information sometimes on people. But you can also get a lot of incorrect information as well. So Kiwi farmers will discover a lot of stuff where it's like, damn, like I'll read through some of my threads sometimes and I'll be like, damn, they found some shit out. That's actually pretty impressive. And then I'll read a bunch of other shit. I'll be like, they're so fucking wrong on this. This is like, and I see what the strings they're pulling from, but this is even close to fucking true. So you have to be careful when you read Kiwi Farms. You have to go through, if you are going to read Kiwi Farms threads, you need to go through the evidence with a critical eye and a critical mind, because there's going to be a lot of stuff they post that it's like, wow, that is true. Surprisingly, they dug up some real information, but there's also a lot of bullshit as well. This is why I think even Noel was referencing the Catboy Ranch shit, and I think it's cringe too. There's nothing there. If you truly really want to attack, the Lauren fanfiction shit, yeah, holy fuck. There were like a couple things where it's like, oh my god, that's true. And then there were other things where it's like, do you really think I would like send her flowers and tell her to post pictures on Twitter and shit? Like, there were like some mind-blowingly off things. But there have like been a couple of things where people try to dox or figure out parts of my personal, like, oh, that's actually true. And then there are other parts where there's like a whole fanfiction gets invented off of like one or two facts. When Joshua was referencing the Catboy Ranch stuff, yeah, I think he did that in an official KF thing, I think. But don't quote me on that. I have to go back and look. But yeah, just be careful when don't take everything at face value. You need to be a little bit critical. You need to be a little bit critical of the stuff that you're reading.
I never had a Discord server where I discussed sexual stuff with minors.
And then they also say I guess one of their problems is that you are supporting young people.
Destiny, also, she would never, ever, ever be anywhere near this charitable to you. This is part of what I appreciate about you and watch your stuff. But in case like this, you're being too kind. Oh, yeah, I hope it comes off. I want to be a really kind person. I hope so. Yeah, this person is actually like a dog shit human being to me and accuse me of shit. But I'll be fair. I'm fair to everybody, okay? People will lie and they'll accuse me of being like biased, blah, blah, blah. I'm not. I'll be fair to anybody. There are bullshit accusations that are made about her. And I'll be honest when I see bullshit accusations made about her. But there's also some accusations that are probably true that she hasn't contended with as well. So, but yeah.
Young trans people who didn't have access to hormones, you were telling them how to make homemade hormones.
Oh my God. No, I don't know how to make homemade hormones. I noticed the new thing is they're saying that I'm teaching people how to make hormones in their bathtub, which just sounds insane.
Notice how she's not engaging with the real critique though. And this is, I'm gonna be honest. No, I'm not. I was gonna say I would give props to Ethan for this because Ethan is actually pushes hard, but I don't even think Ethan is trying to push hard. Keffals is just so fucking inept that she's just walking into like the worst fucking traps because she's so fucking dishonest. Yeah, she's trying so hard to not answer any of this directly, but Ethan will read like Ethan's just like reading through a subreddit and like coming up with this shit. So. Yeah, Ethan doesn't even know what the fuck he's asking, and he's like stumbling into challenging questions for her, which is pretty sad. She should have been ready for this interview. I'm kind of surprised she didn't prepare for it because it's probably the biggest one she's done so far. Like this is gonna get more viewership. It's gonna be a longer format than even like the CNN shit and everything. Yeah. He's literally throwing her softballs and she's whiffing.
That sounds difficult. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know
how do you do that?
I think you'd have to be like a pretty talented chemist or.
It's so funny that Ethan is like so like hard trying to like simp for her, and he's just like mindlessly like actually like fucking her so hard on these questions because she's so fucking stupid.
If that's even possible, I don't know. So, yeah, I mean that's the stuff that people are saying, but what's the truth? I mean, you do have some kind of community where you're helping young trans people, right? That's like something you're passionate about.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, it's something that I've been really passionate about because all of these laws ended up coming out and it really hurts me on a personal level. Like, I knew what it was like growing up, like in 2011, coming out at 16, and it seemed like the whole world's against you. But things are worse now than they were then. Like back then, no one knew what a trans person was.
I hate this because she has to sell this idea that things are worse now than they ever were, but she's old enough to know better. She's old enough to know that this is not true. She's what, like 30 years old? The idea that things are worse for trans people now than they were in the past is absolutely fucking unbelievable. That is an unbelievably fucking stupid statement. But she has to say it because remember, like Vosh, like Nick Fuentes, like any of these, like Tim Pool does it too. Remember with the Civil War? For any of these political guys online, when they're trying to sell you, whatever political ideology they're trying to sell you, it is essential to them. They absolutely need to have you convinced that everything is the end of the world. They're selling you the message of the end of times, and it's incredibly important that you understand that like the revolution is happening now, civil war is coming, it's worse for trans people now than it ever has been. Like you have to everything has to be like the end of the world always.
Now it's like everyone does, and in one way that visibility is great, but in the other way it means more people who are bigoted towards you can express that.
So when did you transition, at what age?
I was 16.
And so the people that you're kind of advocating for or talking with, these are people who are like not finding support within their families and their communities, and kind of someone who doesn't have someone to lean on, to talk to get additional resources from. Is this the kind of thing that you're doing with them?
I mean, some of them do actually have the support of their families, but some of them don't. Like some of them are in like really fundamentalist Christian households, and the only place they really feel safe talking about being trans is on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And so where do you guys do this? Is it like a Discord or something, or like a community?
Oh, it's like a Twitch stream.
Oh, just on Twitch?
Yeah.
Do you see how she's lying? Why would you lie about this? Like, why would she avoid bringing up the website? There's two huge problems with this. One, as we're gonna see, is you might get caught in a lie, which is really scary. But two, the other problem is it makes it sound like you actually think that you're doing something wrong. That's like, and that makes me wonder, like, do you not feel like you could confidently defend the existence of your site? Because the way that she speaks about it, and she's like, not bringing it up is like, why are you being so dodgy about this?
So it's all just out in the public.
Yeah.
Because they make it sound like you have some kind of secret or some community spot that's not publicly seen where you're talking with kids and stuff, but that's not even the case.
Wait, what is she lying about? Hold on, I'll back up if you missed it.
Households, and
Right.
the only place they really feel safe talking about being trans is on the internet.
And so where do you guys do this? Is it like a Discord or something?
Where do you do
or
the
like
hormone stuff?
I was like a
Right.
Twitch stream.
Oh, just on Twitch.
Wait.
Is this the kind
Yeah.
of thing that you're doing with them?
I mean, some of them do actually have the support of their families, but some of them don't. Like, some of them are in like really fundamentalist Christian households, and
Right.
the only place they really feel safe talking about being trans is on the internet.
And so where do you guys do this? Is it like a Discord or something, or like a community?
I was like a Twitch stream.
Oh, just on Twitch.
Yeah.
So it's all just out in the public.
Yeah.
Because they make it sound like you have some kind of secret or some community spot that's not publicly seen where you're talking with kids and stuff, but that's not even the case.
No.
Wow, that's interesting. They really are just straight up lying, huh? Shouldn't surprise me
mean,
that much.
I
but
love
yeah.
how Ethan just stumbles into
These
all
people
of
are
these
the
things.
type of people who
Hold on,
harass
chill,
people
wait
to
for
the
it.
point where they unalive themselves.
Might-
They try not to take what they say with a grain of salt. Oh, I don't know the expression. You know what I mean?
So do you think that was their goal with you? Probably felt
Honestly,
like it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I see them talk about other trans people, and the first thing is they don't want trans people to even exist. Like, you look through the kind of stuff they say, and they're advocating for a higher unaliving rate for trans people, like unironically.
Which is already like super high, right? I mean, the percentage of trans people that attempt to unalive themselves is like insanely high, right? It's like 1 out of 3.
I actually don't know what the recent statistic was. The one thing that I always thought was kind of funny, well, not funny, sad actually. There was that old statistic, like 41% suicide attempt rates. And from what I remember, it was actually like a trans youth suicide attempt rate. But the more supports that they had, like supportive families or access to medical care, that rate dropped significantly.
Yeah, I think that's so important to understand about what trans people go through. I saw that too. That when they have support of their family or friends, or even, I think the study even said, if they just have one person in their life, family, friend, whoever, that they can talk to about it.
It's crazy that Ethan is more familiar with this than Keffals is. I don't know how she's such a horrible advocate.
The rate of unaliving goes down significantly.
I can imagine even just a Twitch streamer to watch and talk about it is probably really significant.
Right. It says, the data I have says 82% of trans individuals have considered unaliving themselves.
That doesn't surprise me.
As of this year, 40% have attempted to unalive. I mean, that's just so horrible that our society is so fucked up like that,
Yeah.
man. Well, so let's get back to the timeline.
Oh, of course.
So you went back to your house. You've got your stuff back. You got the apology from the police, which is nice. So what happens from that point?
That was the point where I decided that I didn't feel safe in my house. So I decided to move to a hotel room.
Yeah, so you went to the hotel room. You posted a picture of your cat. They somehow figured that out. I mean, these people...
Yeah.
Why are you ever, so again, For people that are worried about getting doxxed, for people that are worried about getting tracked, and especially for people that are f***ing around with Kiwi Farms, why would you post any pictures at all? You're like, why are you poking the hive so much? Why would you do this?
They're f***ed up, but they have this freakish talent. They're like insanely good at doxing people. I mean, it's almost like...
You're giving them too much credit. I live in a small city and there's like 5 hotels and only one of them had like that specific spread of bed sheet.
Then why are you posting
one,
pictures?
Though, where you posted like a picture of your lunch and then they figured out...
Oh, okay. So what happened? So like after what happened in that hotel room, I was like, okay, I'm going to be sneaky. They're not going to find me this time. So I said I was going to stay in some Airbnbs until I found a new apartment. And I decided instead to go to a different hotel and start streaming with the green screen. And what ended up happening was, I think it was after a week, my Uber account got hacked. And my mom's Uber account got hacked and my brother's Uber account got hacked. And we all got the same message, like this automated voice telling us that we got doxxed, all of our information was posted online because someone has it out for us, and that it's not a threat, but that we should be careful.
That came through the app?
It came through, it was like, like one of those, I don't know the name for the type of voice.
Text to
It's like
speech?
The AI voice.
Yeah, but where did it come from? What app did it come from on your phone?
Oh no, it was just a regular call because they got our phone numbers when they hacked our Uber accounts.
Oh, they gave you a
called
call?
You guys and played it.
Yeah, that's how they were able to get our addresses because they had the entire order history on all of those accounts.
Wow.
Damn, that's so nuts, man. So
Yeah.
you go into one hotel, they find out where you are, and then what happens there? You go to another hotel?
Yeah, I went to that hotel. My Uber gets hacked. And at that point, I'm just like, okay, I was really upset because it's like my family is collateral in harassing me at this point. So I was like, okay, I'm going to stay with my friend in Northern Ireland. So I get on a plane, I go to Northern Ireland.
Why do you have to go to Northern Ireland? She's not going to bring up that she's using the GoFundMe money at this point, is she? Like, you don't have to go to Northern Ireland. Why do you feel like you have to travel around the world? Nobody's physically chasing you. It's all people online.
And I do a stream there. And within a day, they figure out where we're staying here as well.
How'd they do
Pizza
that?
starts showing up at the door.
It's insane.
So our best guess, because there was no way that they could have figured out the unit number. They said it was because of the door handles, but it doesn't make sense.
Why are you taking pictures of door handles? How hard is it to just not f***ing post any f***ing pictures of your shit? Is it really that difficult if you're so scared and so frightened and so traumatized? Can you just stop posting pictures? It wasn't a pic, it was on her stream. Stream in the closet. Like, she's like leaving like a trail of breadcrumbs for the attention. It is, that's all this is.
And we think that my host, one of her accounts got hacked
Oh my
that had
God.
her address.
These people are so nuts.
Oh yeah.
Dedicated, man.
I can only imagine that will really drive a person crazy. Like, the amount of harassment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, at that point I started the campaign because I wanted to get Cloudflare to drop Kiwi Farms because I didn't know what to do. Because if the site kept going, that was just going to be my life.
Yeah.
Like you're a really big content creator, Ethan. You got like millions of subscribers, but your thread was like 500 pages. Mine is like 2,200 pages.
Okay,
Like,
that's what I was
love to
wondering.
harass
So,
me.
2,200. Holy fuck.
But
Yeah,
why?
no, they
Why though?
fucking hate me.
Why though?
Wait, can I swear on here?
Yeah,
Yeah, you
it's
can.
okay.
Yeah, you can say that.
Okay.
Because you bait them so
You go to Ireland,
hard.
Northern Ireland. they dox you again. Is that when you start this campaign where you're like, well, I'm just going to go to war with this website?
Yeah.
And so you,
like,
basically, why did you target, first of all, Cloudflare?
there were multiple companies that I wanted to target. Cloudflare was the one that I chose first because it was the biggest one. And I knew that in the past, Cloudflare had dropped other hate sites like the Daily Stormer and 8chan. So I thought there would be a pretty good chance that they would also drop Kiwi Farms.
So when you starting that campaign, that must have really fucking, if they hated you then, you're threatening their whole existence, right, on the internet, their whole safe place to try to make people unalive themselves.
Yeah.
So it must have intensified. Did you experience it, like intense harassment during that time? Or, I mean, was there nothing more they could do?
Yeah, I mean, like someone even came to the apartment in Ireland and they took a photo outside the apartment with a note calling me a transphobic slur, telling me to get out of their community. And then they had a whole bunch of Kiwi Farms nerd shit on the letter that's like indecipherable to anyone who goes outside.
Wow. So I was following this. You were actually getting a lot of momentum here to get this website taken down by Cloudflare. And eventually the owner of Cloudflare put out a statement. He said, we're not going to do anything. We had taken down the Daily Stormer, which is like a white supremacist website in the past, and he regretted it.
Really?
Because he doesn't want to be the arbiter of like what websites stay and what websites go. But it turned out only like a day or two later, he did take it offline. What happened in between those two time periods?
What he said, because when it went offline, there was a big block screen that said, this website presents an imminent and emergency threat to human life and has been blocked by Cloudflare security services.
Whoa.
And he put out a big statement that was basically stating in the last 48 hours, the threats had intensified to the point where multiple law enforcement services had to get involved and they weren't able to keep up with how many threats were happening. Like, they made 2 different bomb threats against me, and I'm in Northern Ireland. Like, now the history here
Not a good place to
is
make
just
bomb
like,
threats. Yeah,
not the place.
Yeah, I saw actually.
Why even go there? like it's so stupid.
It's pretty incredible. It was almost like they undid themselves to your end, because I saw a lot of stuff on Kiwi Farms of them just making straight up death threats against you, like credible death threats with your address. And I think at that point, the owner was like, okay, now I have a reason at least to stop supporting them. And kind of interesting that they got themselves shut down in a way and achieved your goal for you.
I think it was a few things. The site has kind of been in relative obscurity for the majority of the time that it's existed. And they got pretty emboldened over the years. Like, they didn't get shut down over what happened with the Christchurch massacre or the multiple people unaliving themselves.
I don't know what the Christchurch shit has to do with this. I'm pretty sure the Christchurch shooter was posting on 8chan, not Kiwi Farms. And it's not like Kiwi Farms was like blamed for Christchurch. That's a really weird. I think she's just throwing whatever the fuck she can at the fan and seeing what sticks, because nobody in the audience knows anything. And also for the multiple people that have quote unquote killed themselves. Again, I mean, I have to look up like all the different ones, but I know that near one is the one that gets brought up a ton. There's so many things about that quote unquote suicide that like never. Oh, New Zealand wanted IP info or something from Kiwi Farms. I don't know if they did or not, but I'm pretty sure the shooter posted on 8chan. It wasn't on. I don't think it was on Kiwi Farms, but hold on one second. New Zealand wanted Kiwi Farms to give them IPs of everyone who even saw the video, so they could look at them. Oh, so they could lock them away forever, and Null told them to fuck off to the first moment. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, because New Zealand was trying to go after websites that uploaded the video, I think. Yeah, that was crazy. If I'm remembering that correctly, right? or there was some country that wanted to make it. Was it New Zealand for Christchurch where they wanted to make it illegal just to view the video? That if you saw the video, it is real though. He's crying on his streaming channel. Was it New Zealand? What is Gideon's streaming channel? Link it. Hold on, or more people are getting banned.
All those niggas, I'm trying to...
Oh, damn. Okay. You're lucky, Ape. You got saved today.
be like, either f with me or don't f with me, but at the end of the day, they know who I am. Because I'm being, like, 100% me.
What happened?
Me. And then today, man, or like the other day, I was supposed to make an ad for the NFL. I was supposed to make a TikTok for the NFL. Me and Kai, I said, you know what? I want to bring my boy Kai with me. So I asked Kai if he wanted to be in the ad, and he was like, yeah, man, I'm down. And so we made this funny ass ad, bro. It was fucking hilarious. It was funny as fuck. And I submitted in, and then fucking the NFL was like, oh, it needs to be more upbeat, it needs to be more family friendly, it needs to be this and this. And then it just had me thinking, bro, like I'm compromising my morals for some shit that doesn't mean nothing, bro. Like, fuck the NFL, you feel me? Like, bro, like, I just literally want to make the best content ever. Or like, on today's video, man, I did an ad read, and I had this funny ass idea to make the ad so much better. I had this funny ass idea that like the ad would have been even better, it would have been hilarious, but we need to meet the deadline, so I bullshitted it, man. I bullshitted it. Fucking sent in a bullshit ass ad. Like, I don't care about the company, bro. Fuck the company. But it's more the fact of like, I sent in a bullshit ass ad to you guys, and like, it wasn't me. Or just like the last couple videos, bro. Like, don't get me wrong, man. Like, I don't want to prank all the time. I don't. But like, over here doing shit that like, just selling out, like, bro, like, the fucking. The fucking Loch Ness Monster video, man.
Feels like he's selling out on his content. Well, is he trolling? No, the kid's like 21 years old. Chill. Jesus fuck. You guys are autistic.
Or any of the crazy shit that they got involved in. But not only that, even though it took a whole bunch of horrible stuff happening to someone who already had like a pretty visible presence online, people have been trying to get this site offline for like a decade. So there was so much backing when I started this.
So true. It's such a win for the world. I mean, these people are just demons, man. They're just harassing everybody to no end. I want to give you an opportunity to talk about this
creates
because
water.
people
Fuck.
who are pointing this out, that on your website, keffals.gg, you have a link here that says do it DIYHRT.
Yeah. So it's a website where people can learn about DIY hormones. Basically, if you're in a situation, you live in a state where there's no healthcare provider and you're forced to do that yourself, like find it like at a pharmacy in a different country. It's a resource that's available.
So when it says do it yourself, what does that mean though? You're not there. That almost implies you're making the hormones.
No, you don't make the hormones.
Okay, so I think it's just a misnomer there.
Yeah, no, when it's do it yourself, it's like you have to get the prescription yourself because there's no doctor available.
That makes sense. So
yeah,
I think
the reason that it's offered, because I feel like people really misunderstand the point.
Mm-hmm.
It's a last resort sort of thing. You should absolutely see a doctor if you can. But for a lot of people, they can't see a doctor.
That makes sense. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so guys, there is no homemade hormones happening here. There it is.
Yeah, I've seen an endocrinologist the last 11 years. If you have access, absolutely do it. It's the better route.
Right, but if you don't, doing something drastic like this is going to improve your mental health. And
Ethan saved her so hard. Yeah, Ethan is like,
yeah, of course,
coming out for her so hard. It's so funny.
If you're diabetic and there's no price cap on insulin in the United States, so a lot of people really struggle to afford it. I feel like people wouldn't really have that much outrage if Americans are crossing the border to get Canadian insulin because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
But if we can consider like transgender healthcare as healthcare, I don't see what the big problem actually is.
I don't have a problem with it, but I think it's
Oh, yeah.
I think it's great what you're doing is helping people in need and potentially saving lives. I think it's just the psychos that think that like you decided to be trans just because you want to be different or something. The theory I don't even fucking get.
Oh no, being trans has made my life significantly harder.
Yeah, I don't think that's like something that people seek out to live out. But so we got them dropped from Cloudflare, but that's why. What's significant about that? Can't they just go to another hosting?
Okay, so they didn't get dropped from their host. I think they changed hosts recently. But what happened? They got dropped from Cloudflare, and they got the site back up immediately under a Russian domain and with a Russian DDoS protection service. And then they got dropped in less than 24 hours, and the site was offline again.
Wow.
Any idea
And-
why the Russians dropped them? That's interesting that they even cared.
Oh, they put out a statement. They said that Kiwi Farms broke their acceptable use policy.
Wow.
I'm gonna talk completely out my ass here. I don't really know, but if I had to guess, they probably got dropped by that Russian host because the Russian host probably ended up doing way more traffic than they wanted to because the Kiwi Farms was probably getting DDoS like fucking crazy. That'd be my guess. And whatever Russian host they got didn't want to try to mitigate that much traffic, and so they dropped them. That's my guess. If somebody knows something different, then I could be wrong on that, but that'd be my guess. More than there was like pressure and some Russian company was like, oh no, like we can't do this, like, but.
I think it's because maybe these companies aren't used to a pressure campaign to drop a website like this. Like, I'm sure they're getting like hundreds of emails to drop this website.
Right. And they're just like, well, fuck it. I don't care about them.
I'd be
Like, what are
surprised
we
if that was the
making from
reason.
this
but
that's worth this?
I could be wrong.
Wow. That's super interesting. But so Cloudflare, as I know, it's a DDoS, right? So there's probably people who
Yeah.
are continuously trying to take Kiwi Farms offline by DDoSing them, which is when you overwhelm a site with requests,
Yep.
making it basically inaccessible. And so
Yeah.
Cloudflare is a service that prevents DDoSing. So when you get dropped from that and you get dropped from the Russian counterpart, they basically are unable to go back up online, right? And that's where we are now.
Yeah. They found another one, but it's really unreliable. And basically, since that, the site has just been intermittently online. Apparently, Joshua Moon was really plugging his cryptocurrency accounts in the Telegram today. He's banned from like PayPal and Visa and MasterCard, so it's all he has.
Wait, when did he get banned from all that
She's
stuff? Was
so
that
happy about that.
I think
It's
that
all
was during
personal
the
to her.
Christchurch stuff.
Okay, so this
Oh.
guy's already, he's a well-known piece of shit.
Yeah, when the site when they got dropped from Cloudflare and then DDoS Guard, he put out a statement saying that he thinks that the future of the site is going to be like what happened to either the Daily Stormer or 8chan, where what happened with the Daily Stormers, they continuously get dropped and they're held together with twine and duct tape, jumping host to host and domain to domain to keep online, or 8chan, where they had to go up the clear net entirely. But the problem with doing that and going on the dark net is you can't reliably protect yourself from DDoS attacks. And I don't encourage illegal behavior, but Joshua Moon is a piece of shit and he's made a lot of really bad enemies over the years.
I mean, that applies equally to you, right? Maybe not over the years, but you'll get there.
Right.
Yeah, I don't feel too bad for his website getting DDoS there. Not shedding any tears about that. So what do you think? You think the website's off for good now? I mean, if the website was kiwifarms.net, right? kiwifarms.net, and right now it's off, just completely offline. There's nothing there.
You know, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know that it doesn't really look good for the future. There's no big companies that are reliable that are willing to support them.
Yeah.
And even though I ended the campaign I started, I ended after 6 days after DDoS Guard dropped them. But that didn't stop the people trying to pressure the other companies that have picked up Kiwi Farms. So I'm seeing people going at it all day.
That's good. I think it's a valiant fight, man. Those people are, I mean, how does a website even exist just like dedicated to hating everyone and everything to the nth level, where it's like we don't just hate this person, we actively trying to fucking ruin their life.
I mean, people unalive themselves already.
Yeah,
And citing that website as a cause, like, how is it still going?
they love it, man.
I think it's just because they don't have anything good in their lives, you know? Like, they want to knock other people down so they feel better about themselves.
That's probably a little true.
Yeah, it's like textbook bullying, but all the worst people in the world found a home in a website like this.
That's probably true too.
Are
Yeah.
you feeling, has your life kind of become a little bit more calm since this happened, or not really?
Like, honestly, like, after they got dropped from the second DDoS protection, I felt like a huge weight dropped off my shoulders, because it's at this point they're basically just trying to keep themselves online. And Joshua Moon put out a statement saying, ignore the Twitter people, stop trying to troll them, your statements are getting us dropped from hosts.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they locked all of the threads for all of the organizers of the Drop Kiwi Farms campaign because we were posting the shit they were saying about us on Twitter and making people more mad.
Yeah. So basically, has the harassment stopped? Are you still, I mean, you've won. Are they, I mean,
Yeah.
surely they're angry, but I wonder, since they've lost a central place to congregate, if the harassment has eased.
Honestly, I'm still getting harassed, and I want to go back to what my life was like before this, when
No,
I
she
just
doesn't.
reacted to politics
Nope.
on Twitch.
She hated
and
that.
I feel like that's
Nowhere
probably
near
never
enough
going to
attention.
go away.
Yeah.
But I can accept that as long as they're not trying to figure out where I live and post it online and send SWAT teams to my house and harass my family.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a tough one. Well, it was a good fight, honestly. I mean, even whatever you achieved, what many thought was impossible, and I think I'm glad that website's gone. Fuck them, bro. That they, a lot of people are glad that website's down. So
It's wild to say, but you're saving lives,
so many
basically.
yeah. I don't think that's hyperbole.
Yeah.
Thanks. I had a lot of people reach out to me over this who were getting targeted by this site just to thank me for it. And it just meant a lot because they went after so many fucking people over the years.
I think a lot of people probably are even scared to speak publicly about it because then you make yourself a target. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that was actually a thing. Like, a lot of the journalists that I started speaking to about it were told that they shouldn't talk about it because there could be a Streisand effect and then the site gets more popular. And I'm so glad they were wrong.
Right.
I doubt that.
Absolutely.
But, okay.
Well, what's your plan now? What are you back to streaming from your new wherever you are now? Right now?
Right now, I'm just like trying to settle down now that the dust is settling, and I want to get back to streaming when I can. It's looking good. I'm actually, for the first time in over a month, optimistic about things.
That's great. Well, I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm happy you have a place. You're feeling relatively safe, hopefully.
She's probably not optimistic. She's probably
And,
really scared,
I
looking
think
for
you
the
should
next
get back
enemy,
to streaming as soon as you can.
which is probably going to be us.
Keffals.
Good luck.
On Twitch is where people can find you, and you discuss politics and all kinds of things. And fuck Kiwi Farms forever.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your service. A soldier. You're a soldier
Nothing at all about the GoFundMe. How
in the
disappointing.
online culture war.
Good one, Ethan.
You're in the front lines. You're in the trenches, taking grenades. Oh, you know what we could do? You know what we could do together? Since we're here, should we have a Pride Minute together? Just, I don't know if you know about our Pride Minutes, Keffals.
I don't know about the Pride. What's the Pride Minute?
Yeah, so Jordan Peterson was like, "What's with Pride Month? It's too long. Pride Day, more like it."
Month.
Yeah. So we said, you know what, Jordan? A day is too much. Let's shorten it. A Pride Minute. So we like to celebrate Pride for 1 minute. and then quickly encourage people to get back in the closet afterwards.
This is so.
So,
Okay.
would you like to
God,
celebrate
kill
a Pride
me,
Minute
dude.
with us in your honor?
Okay, absolutely.
All right, go ahead. During this Pride Minute, we like to encourage everybody to be them true selves. You know, nobody should be able to judge you for who you are, right, Keffals? I mean, is there anything you want to say to the LGBT
Right, Keffals?
plus people out there?
Oh my
during
God,
Pride Minute?
dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Never let anyone push you around.
Right.
Stand up against people who are bullying you,
Yeah.
who don't want you to be proud of who you are.
That's it.
Right.
We're so much stronger when we stick together.
Solidarity.
And this hate site was up. Yeah, it was up for 10 years, and we all came together and kicked its ass in a week.
Keep going.
I'm hoping for a future where the trans community and the gay community and all of the different marginalized communities can come together and fight together and build a better future for all of us.
That is just right on. So, I'm gonna have to stop you there,
I'm not
Keffals.
gay
Okay.
no more.
All right.
I'm gonna have to stop you there. No more pride, okay? Back in the closet.
I am not gay.
Everyone,
Okay.
please. I invite you all to feel ashamed and
Okay.
of yourself now, because we're back. Pride Minute is over. We can't have this conversation anymore, Keffals, because Pride Minute's over, and you should feel
right.
deeply ashamed now. So, I'm sorry
Okay,
about
I'm
that.
going back in the closet. I guess
Yeah, please.
I need a guy's name. Can I be Ethan too?
Sure. Be whatever you want. Just don't be trans anymore. It's deeply shameful.
All right.
So Pride Minute,
God.
but thank you for celebrating that Pride Minute with us. That was
Yeah.
a fun. That was a good moment we had. And we do like a Christian minute now after Pride Minute. Oh Lord, Lord, may we smite down these trans people.
Shame on you.
Lord. Oh Lord. They says that Pakistan is flooded.
It's the Holy Spirit.
That's from the trans, don't
telling
you know?
It's you.
Every time a man takes a replacement hormone,
I'm not gay no more.
a child drowns.
I don't feel
in
bad about my
Pakistan.
N-word jokes anymore, okay?
Lord Jesus.
I felt gay.
You guys gaslit me.
Yes, sorry, I won't project it.
It's okay.
I
This is
didn't
great.
know about. I didn't know about this
Christian
minute.
We got Pride Minute, then you have Christian Minute, because you have to balance it out. Lord, every time a man kisses another man, a child dies in birth. Amen.
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 Come on now.
Amen.
Every time a woman goes down on another woman, a queen dies. Amen. Queen Elizabeth, rest in peace.
Amen.
Anyway, Keffals, thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Oh yeah, this has been great.
I'm impressed and I'm proud of what you've achieved. It's really something. It really is something. I mean, it's heroic.
It is
I gotta
something,
say
all
it.
right.
It is.
Well, let's just hope this is the start.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. And
Sorry. Not funny.
so Twitch, guys, you can follow Keffals on Twitch. Hopefully you'll be back online soon and you guys can all enjoy her content there. But thank you so much for calling.
Yeah.
It was so nice to talk to you, and thanks for spending your time with us here.
Stay strong.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And,
Thank all of you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
Take care
you.
now. Bye-bye. Back in the closet.
No.
Pride Minute is over. Amen. Every
I felt
time
gay.
a podcast host talks to a trans person,
An angel loses its wings.
Oh.
I didn't never kissed a dude.
Okay, I can't anymore.